We truly are, at our core, imagine every relationship as an adventure, and you are the explorer of your own self. You want to uncover the hidden treasures within your soul and share them with others. But to do that, you need a path leading to understanding, connection, and ultimately love. Today, I will guide you in discovering your true value in a relationship based on 9 ancient Stoic philosophical lessons. So pay attention. Lesson 1: Understanding your true worth. So how does Stoicism relate to understanding your value in relationships? Stoics believed in focusing on what we have power over, and guess what? Your self-value is entirely within your grasp. It's not about how many likes you get on social media, or if someone shows interest in you, it's about how you see and appreciate yourself. Picture this: imagine you're a gemstone. Lesson 2: Present yourself with dignity. Now, before you start picturing a Stoic as this stern, unsmiling figure from ancient times, let me set the record straight. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions or being indifferent. It's about understanding what deserves your energy and what doesn't. And guess what? The way you present yourself deserves your energy. So let's chat about what it means to present yourself with dignity in relationships. Have you ever noticed that sometimes we go to great lengths to impress someone, only to lose sight of who we truly are? We change the way we dress, speak, all in hopes of gaining approval. But here's the key point, and this is where our calm and wise perspective comes in. Your self-respect isn't tied to your clothing style or the trendy spots you frequent. It's about how you present yourself, the things you do, and the decisions you make. Imagine you're in a classroom observing 2 students giving presentations. One student is flashy, using big words and gestures to impress the audience, while the other student is composed and speaks confidently without any pretense. Which student do you think makes a lasting impression? It's often the one who is genuine and comfortable in their own skin, isn't it? This highlights the importance of presenting oneself with dignity. The Stoics, known for their philosophy of self-control and virtue, emphasized the significance of living honestly and respecting oneself. So how does this apply to dating today? It's straightforward: be authentically yourself. If you adore diving into books, embrace it. If you have a strong passion for something, let it show. It's not about pretending to be someone else, it's about feeling at ease and self-assured in who you are, understanding that you are valuable just as you are. And here's another important point: treating yourself with respect. The way you treat yourself establishes the bar for how others will treat you. If you're always criticizing yourself, you're essentially saying it's all right for others to do the same. However, when you respect yourself, value your time, energy, and emotions, you're making a bold statement: I deserve respect, and I expect to be treated accordingly. Let's take a moment to reflect. How can we begin to show ourselves more dignity? It could involve setting clear boundaries or refusing things that don't match our values. It might also mean treating ourselves with more compassion and respect. When you view yourself as worthy of respect, others will begin to see it too. Lesson 3: The art of nonverbal communication. I understand if this sounds a bit old-fashioned or strict at first, but please hear me out. It's not about being difficult to approach, it's about respecting yourself and recognizing your worth. So what does Stoicism have to say about this? Stoicism teaches us how to control ourselves and stay strong, but not in a strict or boring way. It's about understanding what really matters and not giving it away too easily. In a world where we want things right away and keep scrolling endlessly, Stoicism feels like a breath of fresh air. Let's think about it. In relationships or when we're getting to know someone, there's often this rush to share everything: our time, our space, our deepest feelings. But Stoics would suggest taking a step back. Why? Because when something is always available, it loses its specialness. It's just how humans are. If you're always there whenever someone needs you, always saying yes to everything, where's the excitement, the mystery, the anticipation? Let's talk about how to set boundaries gracefully, the Stoic way. Firstly, it starts with your appearance. Dressing stylishly yet modestly isn't just about looks, it sends a message. It communicates: I respect myself. You're not concealing yourself, but you're also not revealing everything up front. It's about finding equilibrium, expressing, there's more to me than what you see. It's important to note that setting limits isn't about playing tricks or controlling situations. It's about respecting yourself and staying true to your principles. It's about demonstrating, not just through words but also through actions, that you value yourself and deserve to be treated with respect. So here's to being a bit more selective, composed, and stoic in our relationship approach. It's about striking a balance between openness and discernment, between sharing and reserving a bit. And believe me, it greatly influences how others see and treat you. Cheers to valuing ourselves and embracing a bit of stoicism in today's dating scene. Lesson 4: Be ready to walk away. In Stoicism, there's a powerful idea about letting go, not in a distant or uncaring manner, but in understanding what we can change and what we cannot. One of the most empowering actions we can take is deciding whether to stay or walk away from a situation that doesn't align with our well-being. This becomes particularly significant in relationships. We've all experienced this, haven't we? Being in a place where we know we deserve better, yet we choose to stay. It could be the fear of loneliness, the fear of change, or simply holding on to hope for improvement. But here's where Stoicism steps in. Real strength comes from realizing that we have the power to stay or leave situations that go against our principles, and we can opt for a different path. This doesn't imply that Stoics were indifferent or disinterested in love, far from it. They simply believed that love, like everything else in life, should be approached with wisdom and self-respect. In relationships, this means acknowledging when something isn't right, even if it's difficult. So what does it mean to be prepared to walk away? It means understanding that your worth isn't determined by someone else's presence. It's about understanding that your happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from another person. It's not about being heartless, it's about having the self-respect to step away from situations that don't match your principles or bring you happiness. Consider this: if you remain in a relationship or situation that consistently causes you distress, you're essentially permitting it to drain your energy and spirit. However, by taking a step back, you're reclaiming your power. It's about acknowledging that while love and connections are vital, they should never come at the expense of your inner peace. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, offered insightful advice: don't explain your philosophy. Embody it in relationships. Embodying your philosophy might mean having the courage to leave when necessary, even if it's challenging. It's about putting your principles into action, even when it involves making tough choices. Let's reflect on our relationships for a moment. Are we holding on to something that isn't serving us? Are we staying out of fear or genuine connection? Being prepared to walk away doesn't mean we don't care, it means we care enough about ourselves to prioritize our well-being. It's about having the wisdom to understand when it's time to let go and the strength to follow through. Lesson 5: Embrace change with grace. Let's talk about change. Change can be one of the most unsettling experiences, especially in relationships. But here's the truth: change is inevitable, and it's often where the most profound growth occurs. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius would advise us to go with the flow of life, not to resist it. It's about accepting the things we cannot change and focusing on what we can: our own actions, reactions, and attitudes. So, how can we embrace change in our relationships? First, by letting go of the fear of the unknown. Change often brings new opportunities, even if it's uncomfortable at first. It's about being flexible and adaptable, understanding that change is a sign of life. Second, by supporting each other through change. Whether it's personal growth, career shifts, or any other life changes, it's important to be there for each other, not to hold each other back. Finally, by recognizing that change is an opportunity for growth, both individually and together. It's about viewing change not as a threat, but as a chance to deepen your connection, learn more about yourself and your partner, and become stronger together. Embracing change with grace means being open to the natural flow of life and relationships, understanding that change is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed. It's about growing together, adapting to new circumstances, and finding strength in the journey. Lesson 6: Live by your values. Now, let's get to the heart of what it means to live by your values in relationships. Stoicism teaches that living according to your values is the key to a good life. It's about aligning your actions with your principles and not compromising on what matters most to you. In relationships, this means being clear about what your values are and making sure that your actions, as well as the relationship itself, are in line with those values. It's about being honest, respectful, and true to yourself, even when it's challenging. Living by your values might mean making tough decisions, like setting boundaries or walking away from something that doesn't align with what you believe in. It might mean having difficult conversations, standing up for what you believe in, or making sacrifices for the greater good of the relationship. But it's also about being kind, compassionate, and understanding. It's about treating others with the respect and dignity that you would want for yourself. It's about being a person of integrity, someone who can be trusted to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. So, what are your values? What principles guide your actions? Take a moment to think about that. And then, think about how those values play out in your relationships. Are you living according to your values? Or are there areas where you could do better? Remember, living by your values isn't about being perfect. It's about striving to do the right thing, even when it's difficult. It's about being true to yourself and the people you care about. When you live by your values, you not only build stronger, more meaningful relationships, but you also find peace within yourself. You know that you're living a life of integrity, and that's something that no one can take away from you. Lesson 7: Practice patience. Patience is a virtue, they say, and Stoics would agree. In a world where everything seems to move at lightning speed, practicing patience in relationships can be incredibly powerful. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. This is especially important when it comes to patience. Whether it's waiting for the right person to come along, giving your partner the space they need, or simply being patient with yourself as you grow, patience is key. Think about a gardener planting seeds. The gardener doesn't expect the seeds to sprout overnight. They water them, give them sunlight, and patiently wait for them to grow. The same is true in relationships. Good things take time. Building trust, understanding, and a deep connection doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, care, and attention. In relationships, practicing patience might mean giving your partner the time they need to grow or heal. It might mean being patient with yourself as you work through your own issues. It might mean waiting for the right moment to have an important conversation or giving a relationship the time it needs to develop naturally. Patience is about trusting the process, understanding that everything has its own time and place. It's about being present in the moment, not rushing ahead or trying to force things to happen. It's about letting go of the need for immediate results and instead focusing on the journey. So the next time you find yourself feeling impatient, take a step back and remember that good things take time. Trust the process, be patient, and let things unfold naturally. You'll find that with patience, you'll be able to build stronger, more meaningful relationships that stand the test of time. Lesson 8: Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful force, and the Stoics knew it well. They believed that cultivating gratitude was essential to living a good life. In relationships, gratitude can be a game changer. When we're grateful for the people in our lives, we see them in a different light. We focus on their strengths rather than their flaws. We appreciate the little things they do rather than taking them for granted. We become more patient, more understanding, and more loving. Cultivating gratitude in relationships might mean taking the time to acknowledge the things your partner does for you, whether big or small. It might mean expressing your appreciation more often, saying thank you, and letting them know how much you value them. It might mean focusing on the positives in your relationship rather than dwelling on the negatives. But it's also about being grateful for the challenges, the lessons, and the growth that comes from being in a relationship. It's about seeing the difficult times as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than obstacles to overcome. So, take a moment to think about the people in your life. What are you grateful for? What do you appreciate about them? And then, let them know. Express your gratitude, not just in words, but in actions. Show them that you value them, and that you're thankful for the role they play in your life. When you cultivate gratitude, you'll find that your relationships become stronger, more positive, and more fulfilling. You'll see the good in others and in yourself, and that's a powerful thing. Lesson 9: Love and let go. The final lesson from Stoicism that I want to share with you is the idea of loving and letting go. This might sound counterintuitive at first, but let me explain. Stoicism teaches that we should love deeply and fully, but we should also be willing to let go when the time comes. This doesn't mean that we shouldn't care or that we should be detached. On the contrary, it means that we should love with our whole hearts, but also understand that everything is temporary. Loving and letting go is about finding balance. It's about loving deeply, but not becoming attached to the point where you lose yourself. It's about being willing to let go when it's time, knowing that every ending is also a new beginning. So love with your whole heart. Cherish the people in your life. But also remember that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to let go and move forward with grace. Conclusion: Stoicism in relationships. Stoicism offers us a timeless framework for navigating the complexities of relationships. By focusing on what we can control, living by our values, and cultivating virtues like patience, gratitude, and resilience, we can build stronger, more meaningful connections. But perhaps the most important lesson is this: relationships are a journey, not a destination. They're a process of growth, learning, and evolution. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, we can navigate that journey with wisdom, grace, and love. I hope these lessons from Stoicism have resonated with you and that they offer some guidance as you navigate your own relationships. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about striving to be the best version of yourself and treating others with the respect and kindness that they deserve.